going to call this meeting to order. It's Tuesday, February 18th, and this is a full meeting of the regular City Council. And we are live in the City Council chambers. This meeting's being recorded on Zoom and on public access. And this meeting is being translated into Spanish, so thank you to everyone at Holyoke Media for helping us with that. And the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson Burgos.
Here.
Bartley.
Here.
Devine.
Here.
Givner.
Here.
Graney.
Here.
Jordan.
Here.
McGrath Smith.
She's here, or no, she's not.
Okay.
She is coming, but
Murphy Roboletti.
here.
Ocasio.
Here.
Israel Rivera.
Here.
Jenny Rivera.
Here.
Sullivan.
Here.
Bacon.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
And the city of Holyoke.
And the City Council.
Before we dive into business, just some housekeeping. We do have Counselor zooming in, so I would entertain a motion to take a roll call vote that for the purposes of this meeting would be applicable to all motions to receive, to refer items to committee, remove items from the table, place items on the table, package items together, comply with items, or suspend the rules unless there is an objection.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Okay, so I don't have anyone signed up for public comment. If anyone in council chambers is here for public comment, let me know. Do we have anyone online for public comment? All right, we have one. So I'm going to keep track of time, and you have 2 minutes to give public comment. I will give you an awkward warning when there's 30 seconds left, just to let you know, and just state your name and address for the record. So Alana?
Alana.
Hi, Alana.
My name's Alana Johnston Rutledge. I live on 75 Taylor Street.
Go for it.
Sorry, that's my baby. But we live on Taylor Street, and we have talked to several people in the neighborhood also, and our street has not been plowed at all since the snowstorm. People have been slipping and sliding. It's really hard to get even out of my car, the street, to go to work every morning. My car fishtails when I drive down the street. It hasn't been sanded or salted in any way. And I couldn't even get into my driveway, because when you turn, your car fishtails. So I feel like it's a hazard, and we're wondering what is going to be done about it. Also, a police car went up and down our street with a siren running, but they didn't give any kind of instructions about if we were supposed to move cars off the street. And then they didn't plow, even though people did move their cars. So I guess that's all. I'm just concerned about people falling. There's a lot of old people on my street. I have a baby. They consistently don't plow. This isn't the first time it's happened, but since the weather's been worse recently, it's just completely frozen solid. It's sheer ice. I was going 2 miles an hour down my street, and my car was still fishtailing.
All right, thank you. We appreciate it. You had 30 seconds left, just to let you know. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay.
Madam.
Wait, I'm sorry. Amelia. So just again, Amelia, if you can state your name and address for the record, And you will have 2 minutes, and I will let you know when you're at 30 seconds.
Okay, hi. That was my neighbor Alana. I'm Amelia Box. I'm at 57 Taylor Street. And I just want to second what she said. My car's an SUV, but I spun out, trying to get onto Hampton, and it's a one-way street. And I noticed that a whole bunch of the other one-way streets are missed and not sanded or plowed. So that's it. I know I have 2 minutes, but that's all I have to say for this meeting.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else online for public comment? Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to take something out of order.
Counselor Givner?
I'd like to make a motion to take item 30 out of order, if I may.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to suspend the rules and take item 30 out of order. Item 30 is the Committee on Development and Government Relations, to whom was referred an order, special permit application of F&M Hideaway, Inc. to reconstruct and renovate Schermerhorn's restaurant and retail store per section 473 at 224 Westfield Road. Recommended that the special permit be granted. Counselor Givner.
Thank you, Madam President. So this was in DGR recently, this week, and basically, or last week, and basically, the ones that are applying for this permit are here today. They gave a great presentation of what they're trying to do. Mr. Frank Demarinis is the engineer and one of the project owners, one of the partners in this business. They're pulling to reconstruct and renovate Schermerhorn's. Basically, they're trying to just rebuild exactly what was there before, but it will be up to code. It'll have all its Board of Health items in order, and they gave a great presentation. They also sent in their building plans and anything that we might have questions about. So it was sent to the full council for unanimous approval, and I'm hoping that we can pass that tonight for them.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Devine?
Yeah, I wanted to thank them as well to having given us the plans right away. And one of the things I said that night was there was a neighbor up there that had some public comment and was concerned about, I think it was parking, and the first thing they did was say, I'll talk to you about it out in the hall, and that's what I thought was very impressive, and I'm sure they answered all the questions that gentleman had.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Bacon?
Thank you. I'd like to speak in favor of this special permit and compliment the project folks on doing their due diligence and finding the problem areas and doing it the right way. So it'll be a lasting and positive project for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Counselor Rivera?
So I just wanted to say that a lot of people are grateful to still see that Schermerhorn's will still be around. That's all.
Thank you. All right.
Madam President,
Oh, yes, Counselor Greeny.
just quickly, it's really neat. I hope they're going to leave the sign up in the front too. That looked really good because Sherman's goes back into Holyoke about 80 to 100 years.
Thank you, Counselor. All right. Anyone else? Okay, on the motion, the motion was to approve the special permit. If you vote yes, you are voting to grant. Excuse me?
Did we pick a name already?
Oh, we did. I'm sorry. It was Counselor McGrath-Smith.
Okay, thank you.
You're voting first today.
Welcome.
Thanks for being here, champ.
You know what? You're it when you're the last.
Yeah.
Glad I don't drink coffee.
So if you vote yes, you're voting to approve the special permit. The clerk will call the roll.
McGrath-Smith,
Yes.
Murphy-Ramboletti,
Yes.
Ocasio,
Yes.
Israel Rivera,
Yes.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Anderson Burgos,
Absolutely yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Yes.
Greenie,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
With that, you've approved the special permit. Thank you all for coming down and for your investment. Appreciate you.
Good luck.
Good luck. Can't wait to see it.
There you go.
Thank you.
Take care.
Madam President, if I might,
Counselor Devine,
can we take up item number 2 off the table?
motion's been made to take item 2 off the table. Is there a second?
Second. I think Juan did, yeah.
Okay. Item 2, I'll just read it, is ordered that there be a transfer of $21,600.22 as follows from the mayor's contract negotiations to several other line items. And Counselor Devine.
Yeah, I think it's item 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6. Okay, and,
Are you making a motion to take
I'm
them
sorry.
all
Yes,
together?
Thank you, yes.
Okay, so, a motion to suspend the rules and take items 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 together as a package, is that right?
Yes, thank you.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I will read them all. Item 3 is filed by Counselor Devine, a transfer request for $8,182.93 from local inspector to building commissioner, chief inspector of wires, zoning official. Item 4 is a transfer request filed by Counselor Devine for $11,342 from planner 1 to assistant planner, assistant director of economic development, senior project manager. Item 5 is a transfer request of $5,050 from enterprise coordinator to the director of Wisteria Hearst city historian. And 6 is filed by Counselor Devine, a transfer request of $1,560.99 from investigator to national service officer.
Thank you, Madam President.
The motion is to take items out of order as a package, so we have to vote on that first.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hold on, under discussion.
Under discussion.
I'd like to have.
And I see
I don't
Counselor Bacon.
Yeah, I don't mind 3 through 6 as a package, but 2 has some other unique issues to it that I'd like to have that one separate from the package.
Okay. Counselor Bacon?
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to take the whole package and send it to finance, because none of these orders have been taken up in committee. Thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, so there's a motion to take
Send them to committee.
take the items as a package and send to committee. Counselor Bartley? Yeah,
You gotta take them off the table first.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
we did do that.
I didn't vote on it. Did anybody vote on, did you call a vote on taking them off the table?
Yes.
We just,
Am I?
I didn't hear a vote on it.
Didn't we say to take them off the table as a package, and we all said all those in favor?
No, because
I didn't hear that.
No, we didn't, because I objected to it all being, we were almost there, but then I asked for 2 to be separate from 3 through 6.
Okay.
So basically, we said yes, but
Okay.
so Jordan just had a.
Well, basically, we talked about it, but we
Right.
didn't vote on it. So I just want to vote.
Okay. So
Agreed, we will have to do that, though.
now I'm still trying to just figure out, you guys just threw 3 or 4 orders at me all at once, so it's going to be one of those nights. That's okay. It's all right. I can handle that.
I'll vote for it. So motion.
It's under discussion, and I just saw Counselor Givner's hand. Counselor Givner?
Thank you, Madam President. So I thought what just happened was there was a motion to take a few items out of order,
Yeah.
and that was voted on.
Yes.
And now it's under
There's
discussion.
no vote on it.
There was a vote. I heard everyone say aye.
I didn't.
Unless we
didn't-
need
we
to
didn't
roll the
vote.
tape.
Play a tape back. I mean,
But
We
I
didn't
thought that's
vote.
what we
All
voted.
right, hold on, please stop.
Yeah.
Okay, so, guys, we still need to vote on whether or not we're going to take these off the table. And here's how we're going to do this. We're going to take up item 2 separately. We're going to take items 3, 4, 5, and 6 together as a package. Got it? We good?
Yes.
Okay, so the first motion I would entertain is that we take item 2 off the table. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All those under discussion, or no? All those in favor to take it off the table? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And then Counselor Bacon?
And my motion is that we send it to Finance Committee.
Okay, so the motion was made and seconded to take items, well, what I'd like to do, okay, so your motion is to take items, all of them as a package and refer to committee.
That was my initial understanding,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna, under discussion for your motion, Counselor Devine.
Yeah, not quite sure, what Counselor Jordan wants to talk about with number 2, so maybe he'll let us know that. And we've had all of these in finance, and what I did tonight, and you'll see it on your table, I decided that you need to know what people are in these positions, so that you can see there's only 22 people that this involves, and they've been waiting for quite some time for their raises. The only thing we can do as counselors is talk about the appropriations. We can't get into benefits. We can't get into whether they get comp time, whatever their benefits would be, because that's not our prerogative. Our prerogative is just to do the appropriation. And I think that any discussion about benefits may lead to an unfair labor practice charge from the union, and I have said that in Finance Committee. So, again, I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but if Counselor Jordan could maybe talk about why he wants 2 to go to committee, but not the others?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, if you don't mind.
Okay. Counselor Jordan, would you like to respond?
All right. Well, there's an extra set of rules here relative to item 2, because what clearly was done because of other objections that were raised when this was all came in on one package, which was some portions interdepartmental transfers, others not. The administration, the mayor, who's trying to get this obviously through, 3 through 6, he's now made these as intra-departmental transfers. So therefore, there is no more interdepartmental rule problem. The only issue here would be for tonight, if we wanted to pass both readings tonight, there would be the 2/3 vote, but unless we do them at 2 separate meetings on 3 through 6. Item 2, though, still presents potentially an interdepartmental transfer problem, because the mayor, when he did the budget, he put the $21,600 in the mayor's budget. And from that mayor's salary line to now he wants to move that money to all these various different department salary lines. So one of the things that the law department looked into in some of their guidance to us was they said that they had spoken to DLS and that they believed that because this was for the same purpose, that wouldn't fall afoul of the interdepartmental rule. Now, my point is, I want to ask the DOR that. I want to talk to him. I'm going to speak to him on Friday on it. And so I would like to ask them about is, do they understand that this was in the budget under the mayor's department and that these are all separate individual departments? So if that's yes, then I will go along with what the law department is saying. But if it's not, then we're back to where we were before. Because on its face, these are separate departments. This is the mayor's department. When he put it in the budget, he didn't make a contract negotiation line in each department. What he did is he put all the money in his department and then now is moving it to these other departments. And I want to make sure that that's understood. And so they're going to talk to me Friday about that. That's when my meeting with them is. So that was my issue there. I'm generally aware of the issue. I will say 3 through 6 are brand new. These are all new items. None of these 3 through 6 has not come before the council before. I mean, I suppose one could ask, why is there leftover money in local inspector? Why is there left money in planner or enterprise or investigator? If folks want to get into that. But that was the reason I wanted to send 2 to finance. And then I want to have the opportunity to speak to the DOR, clarify that issue, and then at that point, we can move forward in 2 weeks accordingly, one way or the other. That was my request.
Thank you. I have Counselor Bacon, and then I see Counselor Devine, and then I see Counselor Givner, but I also see that the Law Department has their hand up, and I would like the Law Department to weigh in. So, Counselor Bacon?
Thank you. And I would just like to say the reason for my motion is I think it's very difficult to do the work of a committee with the body as a whole. And I think it's just much better for these to go to committee, get the report, and deal with it that way. Thank you.
Counselor Devine?
That was going to be my motion, that we suspend the rules and have the Law Department speak on this. And just one other thing, and again, I'm not doubting anybody, but are you going to the DOR, Kevin, or are you meeting with them?
Yes, Friday.
Okay. Will they give a ruling, in writing?
Yeah, well, they didn't give the Law Department one in writing, so I doubt they'll give me anything in writing, but I do want to just confirm, because I'm working off a verbal report. Okay. So I want to just make sure we're all on the same page of the facts that happen, and if we are, then we're good on that issue.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. On my motion.
So the motion was to suspend the rules to allow the Law Department to speak. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Attorney Bissonnette? Good evening.
Madam President and members, I think it's unfortunate that somehow the accuracy of what the Law Department and the City Solicitor has reported to the council and has exchanged with Councilor Jourdain several times. It's unfortunate now that once again, after over a month of meetings on this very topic, the councilor continues to believe that there's some fruit of the poisonous tree here, that we're not representing what DOR says. Tomorrow, as they do every Tuesday and Wednesday, the Department of Local Services in DOR has a service for municipalities. They allow mayors, solicitors, even council members to call in and ask for some guidance. We do that regularly. And as veteran members of the council should be well aware, they do not provide written opinions. They defer to the city solicitor on this. Now, I'm not sure how many times we need to go over this ground, but let me try to make it clear. Because of Councilor Jourdain's diligent efforts to enlighten us concerning these intra and interdepartmental transfers and the rules applicable otherwise in the last 2 months of a fiscal year, the mayor has gone back and decided to bring all of these orders forward based on transferring funds already within the departments. Now, those of you who have participated in the budget debate may recall the mayor's meeting with the council on his budget, in which the sum of, I believe, $25,000 was put in specifically under the heading contract negotiations. At the time, most of you were aware that prolonged negotiations with the then professionals union had resulted in somewhat of a stalemate. And in order to reflect this in the current budget, the amount of what the settlement might be was put into that budget item in the mayor's department. Explaining this to DLS, they concurred that it was similar purpose, that it's not like we were somehow trying to mislead the public or mislead the council, who in fact had it explained to them, voted for it, did not attempt to make a cut. So I think it's fairly clear where we're at. I would hope the council would take to heart a lot of the information that's been provided by Solicitor Ball, including the very topical Supreme Court case that is still a law of this state, that was, I think, enacted in 1913 or 1916, a copy of which was in your packets. I commend it to your attention. But basically, we keep going over the same ground. Hopefully, that opinion will help you understand that the first time an order appears on an agenda, it is read. It's part of your rules as well. That has to be read in full. That might merit some attention. But these are my thoughts on the matter. I would certainly hope that you would commend Councilor Jourdain for allowing this to be corrected so that we're all clear on this. But I think any other discussion, any other procedural motions at this point would be extremely dilatory, harmful to the city, and certainly unfair to workers who have waited for a while to get their retroactive pay. Thanks very much, Madam President and the Council, for the time.
Thank you. So I have Councilor Givner and then Councilor Jourdain. Go ahead, Councilor Givner.
Thank you, Madam President. So this information is not new, so I'm not really sure why we want to send it back to finance. I mean, it seems like it's pretty time sensitive. We have all these people who've been waiting on their raise that has been, legally negotiated. And I guess what I'm hearing is something I hear often. It's that one counselor on this body doesn't agree with our 5-person law department. And I think that's unfortunate because the law department is in the budget. So why are we paying them? I mean, why do we have a law department if we don't want to take any of their advice and we want to fight with them full time? I think that's unfortunate. I can understand, wondering sometimes and checking up on things, but it seems like we check and check and check, and there's always, another problem for any solution that comes up, and I think that's unfortunate. It's a 5-person law department. I would like to hope or think that what they say we can take as being real. We talk about wasting taxpayer money, sending things back and forth to the law department to be checked over and over, and out to consultants, et cetera. Seems like a horrible waste of taxpayer money. This is time sensitive. People have been waiting. And it costs us more as a city if we lose employees. Retraining employees is expensive. And even hiring employees is really hard. So it makes a lot of sense to try to keep the good people that are here. I mean, why are we looking for reasons to make them want to leave? I just don't understand it. And to hear that there's nothing in writing, which, would be nice if there was something in writing, but to hear that you just need to hear it for yourself in writing, for yourself, your own ears, I guess I can understand it, but then why are we here? Are we not supposed to be on the same team? Like, shouldn't we be able to take the word of our city solicitors as like the rule of what's going on? Should all of us go to this meeting? Can I go to this meeting with the DLS on Friday? Can I take notes and publish them? Like, maybe we should all have a public meeting with the DLS to make sure that we were all on the same page. But, quite frankly, I work for a living. I don't have time to go. And that's why I trust in our city solicitors and other professionals that we have hired as a city to serve the public. So I just want to put that out there. I think it's unfortunate. I think this is a horrible waste of time. And I really wish we could pass this because obviously when the mayor put this money into these budget lines from wherever they're coming from his own salary, the intention was to fund these contracts. And if that's in question, I don't know why. I don't think there's anything nefarious going on here. I just see us wasting more time and costing more people money, including our taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Jourdain.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. In terms of me questioning opinions, one thing that history has taught me here, and I've been here a long, long time, probably too long for some people, and eventually you'll get your wish, that I will be out of here. I will just say that history has taught me that the law department has been often wrong, often, as many of us are wrong, right? I've been wrong on things in the past, and nobody has a monopoly on being correct, but we do our due diligence. Maybe I just look into these things more than other people do. You certainly, any other person here can call the DLS and ask for a meeting, and they're very nice people. I'm sure they would meet with you. But I do that legwork, and I do take these things very seriously. And I mean, again, I can just tell you, well, you don't even have to go much further than just this item. The original form of this item alone, I've already been shown to be correct. That's why we are now having this item. So if I just took everything at face value, we would have been wrong a month ago, right? So how many times do I have to be proven right before once in a while people believe that I actually know what I'm talking about? And it isn't really a lot of times on just the substance of the issue. You know, we can disagree. You know, yes, I generally tend to like to spend less money than I have to, and I've made my points about all of the added vacation time and all of the work law changes about flex time that are really problematic and very expensive to taxpayers, and the new longevity pay span and all of the cost associated besides pay raises that are problematic with this contract. I just want things to pass here following the rules. And I get really concerned when I know, having been here for a long time, the way we've operated and what we've had. Law departments have guided us for years, that we didn't just show up one day and these are the rules. Like, we've had interpretations on lots of these issues. And in fairness, I just spoke with Attorney Ball last Wednesday for the first time on this issue of how did she get this opinion from DLS? What was the opinion? That it was verbal? I mean, that isn't like that happened weeks ago. That happened 6 days ago. And I reviewed it, and I then sent in an information request to have my own meeting with them to go over the points, because I want to make sure that I can have confidence. And there has been some times when I have gone to DLS, and it has shown that the law department is absolutely right. And I supported them on those things. And then, you know, we've got other things here that we've got other issues outstanding that we're still not in a good place. So this isn't the only one. There's other issues that I'm watching longtime rules of this council and how we have operated for years be just flipped on a dime. And that should not be happening, because one law department should be reading things very closely to how the past law departments are. And I'm watching past opinions, past practices be flipped. And I just ask why. Now, if you're newer here, you don't have that context. So, you know, in fairness, those of us who have been here a long time and have seen how these rules operate, we're very sensitive to it. And unfortunately, we don't have the benefit in the room of, I can't say, hey, Joe, back me up on this, McGivern, or hey, Todd McGee, or Peter Tallman. These people are gone now. So, like, a lot of the folks that are here are new, so I can't lean on you to say, hey, back me up on this, right? This isn't just about, I'm trying to win some issue over here, and it isn't that. These are legitimate issues, and I don't want them to become bad precedents for the future. So I would prefer that either to be tabled or sent to finance. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Eventually, knowing how this room is eventually going to go down, I am of the opinion that those eventually will pass. Take 2 meetings to do it. And by the way, I don't agree with this opinion, and this has not been our practice historically, about the interpretation of Section 22 of our charter, which, by the way, has not gone before a case before the Supreme Judicial Court. Our practice on Section 22 application of the two reading rule has been that you cannot take up the second reading until the first reading passes. A motion is made to pass the first reading, okay? If that passes and the body wants to move forward to the second reading, the second vote, it's at that time someone would make a motion to do that. And if that is done within 3 days of each other, both readings, both two votes on first reading and second reading. And just as the charter says, okay, it says, shall require for the passage the affirmative votes of a majority of all the members of the council, okay? Every order, resolution, or vote shall be read twice with an interval of at least 3 days between the two readings before being finally passed, okay? 2 votes. And the vote at its final passage shall be taken at roll call. Not at its passage, at its final passage, okay? 2 votes. Provided, however, that upon and after the written recommendation of the mayor, the council may pass every order, resolution, or vote on the same day by 2/3, yea or nay. Okay? So that's what, and how we've always done it is, for those of you who want to get this thing passed, because it is an intra-departmental, I'll grant you that, and under our ordinance, which, by the way, myself and Councilor Vacan wrote. By the way, I've written probably half the ordinance book, by the way, at this point.
Can we stay on track, please? Can we?
That interdepartmental stays is only a majority vote. So 3, 4, 5, and 6 ultimately can pass on a majority vote if you do it with the 3 days apart on the 2 separate votes. So I don't disagree there. 2 is still up in dispute until I speak to the DOR. So that's the point of it. I don't know why the law department, if they want to take offense, take offense. I'm trying to do my job. They're trying to do their job. And, that's where it'll take you. And by the way, this is all retro pay going all the way back to July 2023. So for item 2 to wait, or 3 through 6 for that matter, 2 weeks is not going to be the end of the world. So I'll leave it at that, Madam President. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I have Councilor Devine and then Councilor Vacan.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to direct this to Councilor Bissonnette, and also thank Councilor Givner for her right on the money. I don't mean this money, but right in what she's saying. We have a law department. I certainly trust them. I don't know why other people don't. The other thing I wanted to mention, I've already mentioned about the benefits. And when Councilor Jordan talks about added vacation, new longevity clauses, these employees work 8:30 to 4:30. They're not getting comp time for the times that we call them in here. How many times have we called Yanni in here to talk about conservation? How many times have we talked to Eric Velez, the animal control officer, the director of planning, assistant director of planning? We call these people in, and what I wanted to ask City Solicitor Bissonnette is, there is no comp time in these contracts. It's strictly flex time, which doesn't cost the city any money, and these employees only work 8:30 to 4:30, so when we do call them in, they will get flex time. So, Attorney Bissonnette, the one thing I wanted to ask you is, when we have the ordinance chairman and my being the finance chairman, the ordinance chairman, on every single time we have a meeting of the full council, Israel Rivera says, motion to pass the first reading, motion to pass the second reading, motion to pass the third reading, and then that it be ordained. When I have it, it's motion to pass the first reading, we talk about it, motion to pass the second reading. Councilor Bissonnette, what's the difference of passing that this way?
Attorney Bissonnette?
I think the argument is what constitutes a reading.
Right.
Some take the tack that it requires a vote, but a read is not necessarily defined as a vote. Your rules require a full reading by the president of an order. That could constitute a first reading. Often, and under the interpretation by the SJC, the reading in reference to a committee is considered to be a first reading. So again, the idea of passing something on the night it's introduced is often introduced as passed through all its stages on the written recommendation of the mayor.
Okay.
And that covers section 22 for language, just to get it done in one night. I suspect the 3-day rule is something that really related to the lack of immediate communication during the time that this was written. And as we noted earlier, many of these provisions were part of a group of charter templates sold by a group of Boston lawyers who first introduced them in Eastern Mass. So cities, and you'll see in the copy of the lawsuit opinion from the SJC, you'll see almost the same provisions that we have in our Holyoke City Charter from the city of Lowell. So there's a lot of continuity across the state in how these things are being interpreted, and most of them do have deference to state law now, given that many state laws were enacted after the charter was introduced. Stabilization accounts are one of those things. But I'm happy to try to answer any other questions you might have on this.
One quick question. Thank you very much. Could we pass these tonight? If I made a motion that we passed 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 tonight, would we be able to do that?
As I understand it, on the floor right now, the motion pending is to refer item 2, which has been taken off the table, and refer item 2 to the Finance Committee. In answer to your question, if that referral to a committee was defeated, then you could go ahead and move to pass item 2. And in light with our opinion on the reading, the appearance on the agenda, and taking off the late file list and moving all these items to being laid on the table constituted the first reading. So you would only need a second reading for passage tonight.
All right, thank you.
On the other items, just to be clear, on the other items, they would each have to be taken off the table first, and then any discussion could go from there.
Okay.
And just to clarify, I think Councilor Bacon's order that's currently right now is, I think you were suggesting that 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 go to committee, right? That was your motion?
But I guess right now we're only talking about 2.
I still have your motion on the floor to
Yes.
send these, so, but I do have you next on the list, and then I have Councilor Sullivan.
Thank you. So I don't want to get too deep into the weeds, but where I'm coming from with this is in the last particularly 2 years, I have seen us begin to slide away from our practice under our rules and our city charter. Whether you think it's dated and old-fashioned or not, it still is our city charter. It is our guiding document. You could say the same thing about the state constitution, that it's very dated. But nonetheless, until such time as we change it, it is the charter that we're operating under. Now, Councilor Jourdain read the charter to us tonight. He read the words that the charter says. And recently, we've been being told that state law trumps our charter. Well, this is the first year in all the years I've been on the council where that's been put forth, that in a vote such as this, where we've always had to have 2 readings or do 2/3 vote in accordance with the charter, as recently as the last session, we always followed our charter. We didn't go to state law and say the charter doesn't matter anymore. This is the first time this, I guess, for lack of a better word, I'll call it a strategy, because that's what it feels like, just a way to get it done. Because the words clearly say, if you're going to pass it on the same night, first reading, majority vote, second reading, 2/3. Now, to the point about these last meeting, these orders being the first reading, first of all, the motion was made to take them up and table them. They weren't even read into the record, and they weren't posted anywhere 48 hours before the meeting. And our rules say, I mean, if we care about our rules, which we seem to be throwing them out every other meeting, we say late filed orders are emergencies. How were these late filed orders an emergency when we'd already debated them? They were controversial, they were known to the body, so it wasn't unexpected, and the information was available. So my point is, tonight is the first night that these are before us legally on a written agenda. If they came in after the 48 hours at our last meeting, they're late files. Now they're properly before us, and tonight's the first night they were read into the record. We still have not had a motion to pass the first reading, and we still have not voted on it. So the fact that they were read into the record doesn't mean we passed the first reading. In any other vote that we've ever taken since I sat on the council, if this was to count as a first reading, it would be the first time since I've sat on the council that that was the case. Thank you. I think we should follow our rules, follow our procedures, and stay in regular order. Thank you.
Councillor Sullivan?
Yeah, thank you. I would just, in defense of what Councillor Jordan said earlier, we had 2 subjects brought up. One is in trust in the law department, and the other is about a waste of taxpayers' dollars and a waste of our time. All right? The point I'd like to make, and I hope some of the council members, I've been here for 8 years now, this happened prior, and this is not a reflection on our current law department, but I'm telling you what happened. And none of the current members of our law department were part of this group. But this council, of which you're all a part of, was flat out lied to by the law department in regards to certain things that went on with the collapse, the lawsuits, and the insurance practices in regards to what went on with the Essex Hotel. All of that was done in the executive sessions. You can go back if you want to dig into it, see the meetings yourself, and see where we were flat out lied to. So for a counselor, and especially one that himself has a legal background, to question not only the law department, but for any of us to question any other department at all is not a lack of trust. It's called due diligence. All right? It is not a waste of taxpayers' money. If you want to talk about a waste of time and taxpayers' money, we lost millions, and settled things we shouldn't have settled on the advice of the law department at that time. So I think this is prudent. It's something we should be looking at and we should take seriously. And once again, I want our current solicitors and stuff to know this is not a reflection on the job they're doing, or there's no innuendo here of what might be going on, but we should not question another counselor's integrity or the rest of us for going about the business of doing what we're elected to do.
Anyone else? Okay, on the motion was to suspend the rules, take items 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a package. And for the record, I feel like I did read all of these into the record at the last meeting. So to say that I didn't read them into the record, I did read them into the record. So I just feel like I really need to say that because I did read them into the record. So I'm not going to, we'll just continue on this motion. If you vote yes, you are voting, or to send these to committee, to finance committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
I think we should do
Roll call?
a roll call vote. The clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you're voting to send these to committee. If you vote no, you're voting to not send them to committee.
McGrath Smith,
No.
Murphy Ramboletti,
No.
Ocasio,
Yes.
Israel Rivera,
No.
Jenny Rivera,
No.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Anderson Burgos,
No.
Bartley,
Yes.
Devine,
No.
Givner,
No.
Graney,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
6 yeas, 7 nays.
Okay. That did not pass. Is there another motion?
That did not pass? Is that what you're saying?
She said 6 yeas, 7 nays.
Right.
Right.
I make a motion to pass the first reading on these, or I'm sorry, I make a motion that we pass these tonight.
Second.
I need numbers. I need more.
Well, I've already objected to 2 through 6 as a package, and that would need 2/3 vote to vote on them as a package.
And I make-
So we're on 2, Madam
So
President.
I understand that, and I never said that it was going to be taken up as a package. So
I'm just saying, she just
I understand, but I didn't actually call on you. Okay? Please.
So I'll withdraw my motion and just take a motion to pass item 2.
Is there, under discussion, is there a second?
Just second, yep.
Okay, sorry. Under discussion.
Okay.
I don't think I actually called on you.
Okay.
Do you have your hand up? You didn't?
I do.
Okay, Counselor Jordan.
Thank you. Couple of points. One is, I think that if this were to pass the first reading, then we should hopefully table the second reading for all the reasons I had stated earlier, which is to get confirmation which no one in this room has seen. And let me just say, if the question is, we're just going to take everything the law department says at face value, and because they say it, it's automatically true, and if you ask for independent verification and/or things in writing that the law department says, I don't agree to that for any department, particularly the law department, because of the fact that they themselves, this own law department, has even reversed their own opinions just in the last few years. And I've seen them verifiably give bad opinions later who have been reversed by others. This law department. But in fairness to this law department, it's happened to pretty much every other law department that preceded them. Okay? Most of the time, thank goodness, they do get it right. They, I'm sure, try their best. But I want to be clear, these protections that are in our charter relative to Section 22, Section 49, and otherwise, these are protections that were put into place by the voters of Holyoke. And they elected a council that, I'm sorry, is split 7-6. That's their election. That's who they picked. And we don't just get to change the rules because we don't like how the election turned out. All right? Because that's effectively what happens when if we don't follow the rules and we can just circumvent how the rules are applied to eliminate the 2/3 rules in its applications throughout. That's effectively what's going on. And so for those of us that object to the massive spending. I'll just mention again on the substance of the issue because it's now back before us, beyond just the rules issues here. We have flex time where we're told, well, we work 8:30 to 4:30. Okay, that's great. But now this new contract says if you work any other than that, then you must be given flex time. Okay? You must be given flex time. And that is extremely tying the hands of future mayors and is going to bear a cost on to folks, especially department heads. It's not my fault that they mixed mid-level managers in with department heads in this agreement. I don't think this should even be a union because I am of the opinion department heads are management. They should not be in the same union as the people they're supervising. But that horse left the barn before I even got here. So that's how long that happened. But nevertheless, we should not be down on management counting the second, or you're going to get more time off as a result. Giving away an additional 2 weeks of vacation to everybody, potentially up here in this layout, this new structure that went into Schedule A to now be giving everybody an additional 2 weeks of vacation, even when you start. I mean, we can't afford that. The average Hoyoker is not getting an extra 2 weeks of vacation at work. After 5 years, you get this new longevity benefit instead of having to be here at 10 years. These things all cost a ton of money. This isn't about 2 and 3% pay raises. So however this vote shakes out, please do so by the rules. That's the only thing I will say. I've said my piece on this issue. And, again, 3 through 6 eventually probably will pass. 2, we'll see. And the fact that we want to get it right and speak to the DOR, that's the way things should be done. And I would encourage any other counselor that has any question. We should not just be taking major rule changes and just people say, oh, those don't matter anymore, and just take our word for it. I don't do that for anybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rivera.
Thank you. I think for me, there's a lot of irony in a lot of what's being said here. Not only locally, but actually like nationally, rules, whether governments follow rules or not follow rules, when do we follow them, when does it make sense, right? I think for me here, it's just wild to me that like every time one person doesn't necessarily agree with something, we're citing rules, we're citing all these other instances, and we do like 30-minute speeches around ideologies and chastising others that are not voting in the ways that agree with someone else, right? That to me kind of doesn't feel like the democratic process in a sense, right? It's wielding power in ways that is not fair in a sense. That is true. Some of this is true, that some of us are new. But in evolution or time, as time goes on, people interpret things differently. It doesn't mean that the same person will interpret something as it was interpreted 20 years ago. So, as we can see in today's climate, different things are being interpreted differently in today's climate. It's not to say that it's okay. I just think that for me, it's interesting how on a local level, we're at least trying to adhere to the rules, right? And there's this thing about if we would be working in collaboration with some of these people or these employees over years, right? It wouldn't necessarily hurt us all in one shot, like the way you guys are saying it's going to impact us. The problem is that, and I get it, different opinions of views. Not everyone feels like people should be compensated at a level at a certain level when you're working in government, right, or when you're a service provider, in a sense, right? You shouldn't be making the same amount of money as people in corporate world does. But the reality is like, when I ask people to come to my ordinance committees, I don't even care if they show up anymore because I feel bad. I don't, like, it's not fair to ask them to come and sit in my meeting for 3 to 4 hours if they're not going to be compensated. If it was me, I honestly wouldn't want. I have kids and I'm doing this because for me I've invested in this, but this isn't good for someone's mental health. Just in general, it's not good for their overall, how do you say it, being, for them to go to work the next day after they've been in a meeting for 2 hours, right? I'm trying to understand how, because a lot of these employees that we're talking about are also constituents, Holyoke residents. A good chunk of them are. So it's, when we're saying like the people of Holyoke can't afford this, we are one of the largest employers, the city of Holyoke. So when we're talking about the people of Holyoke, they are the people of Holyoke. There is no other industry here that's providing that much employment. It's actually the city of Holyoke that provides most of the employment within this city. So again, when we refer back to the city of Holyoke or to the people of Holyoke, we got to kind of include or think about the people that work here too. I too, I get it. Costs are going up. How are we going to afford this? But it kind of sucks to think about that 20 years later, right? 15 years later, 30 years later. I think for me, the run I'm on is trying to make sure that I'm not saying that 15 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later. And I apologize to anyone if it offends them, but like for me, that's not something I would call success. I wouldn't be proud of that. But we're all different, right? But I'm sorry for taking the time and spending like maybe 10 minutes, half the time, just kind of addressing a point. I just feel like there's too much tension right now, and it just doesn't make sense over trying to figure out what's the best way to run the city. I get it that the law department doesn't always get it right, but as counselors, we don't always get it right. Our record isn't as good either. If you go back in history too, we both share that responsibility or that burden. That's part of that saying of, right, in hindsight, everything's 20/20. But again, I'll yield the rest of my time. My bad.
Thank you. Councilor Anderson Burgos.
Thank you, Madam President. Where do I begin? So, as I'm sitting here, what I'm hearing is that the city solicitors, people that we pay, we can't always trust what they say. They've been wrong, and it was just stated not too long ago, this evening. It was just stated that they've been wrong from like a long time ago, over the years. Over the years. That they've been wrong. And it seems like there's this, I got you, or I'm right, you're wrong, back and forth between the city solicitor and a specific city councilor here. But at the end of the day, you can point the finger of who's right, who's wrong, as it was already previously stated. These folks have been waiting since 2023. And to just simply say, what else? What's another 2 weeks? Are you kidding me? Just another 2 weeks? That would drive me insane if I was the employee at the other end. What's just another 2 weeks? You just been holding this money from me since 2023. And I'd like to see what constituent, or even people sitting in their own chairs here representing our constituents, how you would feel if someone said that about you since you've been waiting since 2023. Tell me who in their right mind wouldn't be upset about that comment right there. What is another 2 weeks? That would be a slap in my face. Any one of us who's been waiting on money that's owed. Yet we want to sit here and talk about many years that the city solicitor's office has been wrong. many years. So from that point, then why have them there? Why even have them at all? Wouldn't that be a waste of money? To ask for their opinion and then to shoot it down and say, no, your opinion is invalid, it's not right, I'm right. Yet these people are waiting to get paid. And I also want to mention for the record, it is a complete insult and disrespect to say that certain city councilors have a vendetta because of the results of the election. Are you kidding me? We have work to do here, not to talk about the past election or anything like that. This is not a vendetta. This is like, let's stop playing the old game. The old game. And since some city councilors have been here forever, then think about this. This city has been in a rut for many years. So those years belong to you, not the new city council. What the new city council is trying to do is get things done. Things that have been held up for many, many years. And this game between, please let me finish.
What's
He's not on topic.
I am on topic.
Oh, please.
He's
I am on
responding
topic.
to what was already said that
Yeah.
arguably wasn't on topic, but I didn't say that at the time. So,
Right. So-
can you just,
Yeah, I'll finish that up with saying.
it's 8:15 and we're on item
Got
2,
you.
just to remind
And what I will
everyone.
finish it up with saying is that our mayor is trying extremely hard to get things done, and I feel you keep putting blockades so that you can just sit there and say, see, the mayor's doing a horrible job. To do things intentionally, to not only make the people who are waiting to get paid suffer, but to also make the mayor look like he's doing a horrible job. And not just this mayor, the mayors in the past as well. It's this, I know what I'm doing and you don't, I know better than you kind of attitude is what kept this city in a rut for so many years.
Councilor Bacon, then Councilor Devine.
Thank you. So as city councilors, we have a fiduciary responsibility. And people can cast all the personal insults they want, but at the end of the day, we have a law department that provides us with opinions. But once we receive their opinions, the responsibility is on us relative to our votes, whether we're following the charter, whether we're following our rules. It's up to us. They are advisory to us. It's not a matter of insult whether we agree or disagree with all the opinions of the city solicitor, because the city solicitor, as the point has been made, has on one vivid occasion changed their opinion diametrically from one to an opposite in 2 years. So we are not under an obligation to accept every opinion anybody provides to us. It is for us to make the determination once we gather all the facts, once we inform ourselves, as is our responsibility to know what the charter says, what the ordinances say, and what our rules say. So the only vote we have relative to contracts is relative to the money of the contracts. It is legal and fair for us to ask any question about how much it costs. And I will say, I would like to hear a half as much sympathy for the people who are almost losing their houses, paying their taxes and fees, as I am relative to this contract. So our responsibility is to look at the cost. It's fair game for us to ask how much benefits cost, how much the money in the contract is going to cost, and then make our votes accordingly. It's not for or against anybody in particular. From my perspective, as I'm sitting there trying to look to see if a contract makes sense, because there's a lot of things in this room, and the new people look back at what the old people did and said, hey, if you hadn't done that, things would be a lot better. Well, and that just proves the point that everything you do out of the best of intentions doesn't always turn out exactly the way you hope that it will. But nonetheless, this isn't personal. But if you're sitting in a room and you got one opinion that said a matter takes 8 votes and another opinion that says the same exact matter takes 9 votes, well, it's got to give you a pause. And you need to consider what the opinion is and base it against what you know. And it's our job to know the charter. It's our job to know the ordinances, and if we don't, shame on us. But we are not obligated to accept every opinion somebody gives to us simply because they're paid by the city. And they're not paid by us, they're paid by the taxpayers. We are representing the taxpayers, not them, just us. Thank you.
Counselor Devine?
Thank you very much. Very quickly, the reason I gave the list of the people who are professionals, okay? This is the professional union contract. And I'm not new to this. I may be new to it now, but for 12 years I was gone, but I was a counselor for 16. So I think I know what I'm talking about. When you look at these names, and I can tell you there were people that didn't even know who Eric Velez was and what he did. How many times have we asked John Dijak to come in from planning? How many times, Neve Rodriguez from the Council on Aging? We should be thankful for these people, that they're still here. There are many of us that are professionals or have professional degrees, whatever, whether it's nursing or legal. Whether you work for the state before and were actually a union steward, that is relevant. So I just think it's terrible that we are letting these people down. We are representing the taxpayers. I can't help it if somebody has a $600,000 house. I can't. That's the way it is. So I would say let's vote on this tonight. Let's try to pass it for the sake of these good professional people that work for us and the city.
On the motion?
Second.
Okay, the clerk will call the roll. The motion is to pass the second reading.
When was the vote on the first? When was the vote on the first reading?
I read the order into the record at the last meeting. That was the first reading.
We never took a vote to pass the first reading.
I read the order into the record as this opinion, this legal opinion says. That's here.
What legal opinion?
The legal opinion that was filed with
that one?
The case law that was filed with this agenda. It very clearly says, and we've talked about the debates that have, this is not a new debate, first of all. This was debated, and I know, trust me, I wish that Joe and Peter and Todd were here. They're not. You got me. You're stuck with me. So, Counselor Jordan.
Yeah. Madam President, to have a vote on the second reading, we've been doing this, you've been doing this since you came here just a few years ago. Every single one of these, Counselor Devine, you can back me up on this, every single transfer that has come here, not just in this term, every term back to the time immemorial, we've had a vote on first reading. We'll take a vote, it'll pass, and then I make a motion to adopt the second reading.
I understand, and
now
it got
tonight,
tabled at the last meeting.
We never took a vote. It was
we took a vote.
Tabled.
We took what?
No one made a motion to pass the first reading.
But there was a motion to table it, and I read the order. That was the first reading.
That's not what the charter requires. The charter, you're supposed to make a motion on every
I literally have the law department and I have case law citing.
Which nobody has even, that is so unfair. You can't just walk in here.
How is this unfair?
Let me explain.
Life's not fair, first of all. You guys do a lot of stuff to me that make things really not fair, to be honest. So if we're going to play that game, I think...
Well, I could talk all night on the way I'm treated in these meetings.
Oh, I treat you with I'm not even getting into this with you, Counselor Jordan.
What I want to talk about, though, is
Excuse me, you're out of order at this point because I'm done. We're voting on this. If you want to do something after that, you can.
I want to have a point of order.
You haven't said what your point of order is.
My point of order is the charter requires every vote we've ever taken has a passage of 2 readings. This is unheard of.
And sometimes things get laid on the table.
Which
I can raise my voice too, okay?
Which is fine. What I'm suggesting is, even though it was tabled, so then the motion should be pass the first reading, and then pass the second reading.
But what I'm saying is what the law department said. I am repeating. You asked for the law. Everyone asked for the law department to weigh in. And then the law department
I
weighed in.
didn't ask him to weigh in.
I did.
She did. I'm sorry. Okay, everyone. Counselor Devine did. Counselor Devine asked for the law department to weigh in. They weighed in. As the president, I'm going to listen to the law department tonight.
But
Madam
can I
President,
ask then?
Please
why-
hold on.
Can I ask then, why all of a sudden are you doing something different tonight than what we have done for 100 years? And on top of it, that SJC case has never gone to committee. We have had no discussion of that. That gets thrown on as a communication, and we're just going to see.
We have to have a discussion on every single thing that gets communicated because we don't.
On a charter which we took the oath to enforce.
Please don't remind me what oath I took, Counselor. I will end this meeting early. I've done it before. I'll do it again.
This is just censorship then at this
It's not censorship. Oh,
100%.
Counselor.
100% censorship. What are you going to have, the police come up and kick me out? That's next, right?
Enough.
Oh. No. You know what, Counselor? Motion to adjourn?
No.
Second.
No.
Outrageous.
Outrageous. Your behavior is
Oh, no.
unreal.
You're not getting away with that.
All those in favor, don't raise your voice at me. I can raise my voice just the way Counselor McGivern did, just the way Todd McGee
Just so
did.
the public understands, this is censorship.
This is not censorship. I know what censorship is, Counselor Jordan.
questioning-
I am done.
Counselor McGrath Smith had a motion on the floor. Could you repeat that, maybe?
I think we all just need to take a breath.
I'm calling a recess. We can come back. 5-minute recess.
Okay.
Recess. Call it back to order. Even though I believe that we have already done the first reading, I will, the motion that's on the floor is for the first reading. So motion to pass it was a motion to pass the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to pass second reading.
I can't make motions, guys. Just a friendly reminder. Help a girl out.
Make a motion.
Motion to pass the second reading.
Thank you.
Second.
Madam Chair, the council is not on the TV screen.
It
is.
looks,
Sorry.
oh, I was going to say, it looks like it is in my, okay.
Now it is. Yep, thank you.
Yep, thank you, Counselor.
So now we make a motion to pass item 2? No?
No. What? Hold on. What's going on? Did you,
We passed second reading,
okay.
right?
No.
Yeah.
You just did the motion to pass the first
Right.
reading. And so then it was the motion to pass the second reading.
Right, okay.
Okay, the clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you're voting in favor of the transfer.
McGrath Smith,
Yes.
Murphy Rumboletti,
Yeah.
Ocasio,
Absent.
She's not here right now.
Israel Rivera,
Yes.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
No.
Bacon,
She's not here right now.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley, oh, he left. Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Yes.
Graney,
No,
Jordan,
No.
7 yeas, 3 nays.
Motion at table.
Second.
Do we have to table and reconsider? Or do you have to just table?
thought we just
Reconsider
passed
and
this.
table would be the motion. That's what you want to do.
Well, if there was a motion to reconsider in a table, I would argue that that passed, but
That's my take too.
What, point of order,
Counselor McGrath-Smith.
to the city solicitor. These are interdepartmental transfers, so does 7 make it pass?
It passed.
That was my question to the city solicitor.
The motion passed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
The
item,
DLS has advised us that that particular appropriation was made with the same purpose to fund the contracts. So that's the basis for it being consistent. And the other ones are interdepartmental.
Then I withdraw my motion to table and reconsider. Thank you.
And Madam President, just for the record, if I may.
absolutely, Counselor.
For the minutes, I'd like to say that we just had 2 readings on the same night in violation of Section 22 of the Charter. That requires a 2/3 vote of the body.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 3.
Item number 3, pass the first reading.
I mean, yeah, all right, motion to pass the first reading was seconded. All those in favor? I'll read it into the record. Filed by Counselor Devine, ordered that there be a transfer of $8,182.93 as follows from local inspector to assistant building commissioner, chief inspector of wires, and zoning official. Counselor Devine?
Yes, if I may, Madam President, if I could make an addendum and pass the first reading on 4, 5, and 6, so we don't have to do it each separate time, if that's possible.
So was that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
Motion to take
3, 4, 5,
3,
and
4,
6.
5, and 6 as a
Pass the
package.
first reading.
And pass the first reading. I mean, okay. That. Okay.
If it's not allowed, then I'll go.
No, it's fine. You guys just, I mean.
Point of order, just for clarification.
Yeah, go for it.
Again, I'm probably as turned around as anyone else is right now.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so we're just on item 3, yes? Okay,
Mhm.
so item 3, this is from local, local inspector. That one.
Mhm.
So we're right now doing first reading or second reading?
First reading, I believe.
No, oh my
Oh, I'm
gosh.
sorry.
Guys, all right, that's it. I'm going to entertain a motion that these all get tabled, these 3, 4, 5, 6, because honestly, now no one, you guys just argued about this for like 20, 30, an hour and a half. We just argued about this. We just argued about this for an hour and a half. And it's very clear that clearly half the council does not agree with me on every single decision I make. That's fine. That's okay. I can handle that. But if now everyone's going to be contradicting each other, I don't
See, but, Madam President, if I may, point of order.
Yeah, Counselor Jordan.
See, I mean, again, this is what I'm trying to say about the unfair treatment. You've just made the statement, half this board opposes you on every single
You
thing
do, Counselor Jordan. I'm not doing this with you.
All right.
I'm not doing this again.
I just wanted to
I am done doing this with you. I'm done. I'm done. You know what?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? This was such a waste of time.